Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have been getting so many questions from parents asking if I can share some tips for kids in terms of like helping their digestion and improving dysbiosis in their little bodies. So I know this video is not going to apply to a lot of you because a lot of you are not parents, but I hope you guys enjoy these tips. They can still be applied to adults too, so maybe you guys can get something out of this video if you are not a parent. But I'm just gonna jump on in. I'm a mom of 3 and my middle child, my little boy, has quite a few digestive problems. He developed eczema when he was like a few months old only. He had a very bad diet and stuff. I've talked about it many times on my main channel, Marla Pietruszko, so if you're interested you can head there and check out my videos. But he had a lot of problems and he has speech delay, and we thought he might have been autistic, but we had him tested and he's not, thank God. But still, he had a lot of digestive problems, and a lot of foods that he eats he gets eczema from or he reacts to. So I have done so much work on him and he is like 95% improved, and now he doesn't really have many allergies. He just has some things that will trigger, it's pretty much just gluten and dairy that will trigger a little bit of eczema, but nowhere near like it used to be. And his speech has improved and stuff a lot. So in this video, I'm just going to share with you some of the things that I did that helped my son and that should help yours regardless of what your baby's problem is. And these are tips that can be applied to pretty much all ages of children, including babies. So if a tip I share with you can't be applied to like little babies, I will tell you. So the first tip is to give your baby probiotics. Even if you're breastfeeding, my point of view on this is that most moms, whether breastfeeding or not, don't have enough probiotics. Either they've taken antibiotics through pregnancy or labor, or they've had a bad diet, or they have candida overgrowth, etc. So I feel like most moms in general do not have enough probiotics to go through the breast milk to the baby. And even if your baby was born vaginally rather than C-section, I feel like if most mothers, because they have candida overgrowth and that microbial imbalance or the dysbiosis, that their baby's not getting much beneficial bacteria on the way out. So I personally think that regardless of breastfeeding or not, you should be giving your baby probiotics. And the 2 good strands you want to look for would be Lactobacillus acidophilus and infantis. You want to look for, I think it's Bifidobacterium infantis or something like that. So there's 2. You can either get it in like a powder form, you can give it to them individually. I just buy capsules and I actually just open it up and pour it in their mouth, and that is a good way to give it to them. You can put it in their bottle if they're bottle fed. If they are breastfed, you can put it like when they open their mouth, just put it right onto their mouth before they nurse. If your baby has thrush, it's also good to just rub probiotics in their mouth to rebalance like the mouth microbiome too. So those are just some tips for probiotics. There are specific infant strains you can buy that has infantis and acidophilus in it. So just find something that works for you and your baby. Make sure it doesn't contain sugar or fructooligosaccharides. Those feed bad bacteria. Just pure probiotics, and it's going to help repopulate their gut. And if you start from like day 1 when they're born, it's going to be so helpful for them as they grow up and start introducing foods and stuff. It's going to really improve their digestion and their skin and their immune system. They won't be as sick as much. It'll help if they're colic. So you can give it to, like I said, newborns, like from day 1 and all the way up, you know, all ages. But you want to watch the dose. If your baby is just brand new, start with just a little bit. You can do like maybe a couple million and work your way up to a couple billion as they grow. Some babies might get diarrhea if you introduce too much too quick. So just try it out. If they do get diarrhea, dial it back next time. And just keep going until you find what works for you and your baby, but definitely encourage you to give your baby probiotics. The next tip, and this is so important in my opinion, is to give your baby cod liver oil. So if you're breastfeeding and you consume a lot of good quality cod liver oil, it's going to go to your baby and you should be fine. But if your baby is bottle fed or your baby's a little bit older and you knew that like you weren't really taking much cod liver oil when you were breastfeeding him, so he didn't get that much, you really want to start dosing them up. So don't go crazy, because vitamin or cod liver oil does contain vitamin A. Too much can have, you know, cause problems. But if you do a couple teaspoons a day for your kids, it's going to improve their gut health, because the cells in the gut rely on fat to like multiply and replenish. And it also kind of like lubricates their intestinal tract, and it fuels so many systems in their body. So I encourage you to give your baby and your toddlers, etc., some good quality cod liver oil. You could buy it in a bottle and just pour some on a spoon and put it in their mouth, or you can put it in their bottle like what I used to do. And those are just a good way to get more healthy fats in their diet. It's going to improve digestion, and the biggest and best thing is that's actually going to really help fuel their brain, improve their brain, which will make them more intelligent in the future. And there's so many studies that are proving that. So that's something you can do. And like I said, newborns as well. So if your diet is not like 100% and it's not full of cod liver oil and things like that, or like healthy fatty fish, then just give it directly to your baby. But if you are eating lots, then they should get sufficient amounts through the breast milk. Tip number 3 is if your baby has a lot of constipation, or they seem like super colicky and just really uncomfortable, you can try giving your baby a little bit of aloe vera gel. Do not give your baby a lot. I would try with like half a teaspoon. Babies are really sensitive, and aloe vera gel is actually a mild laxative, and if you give your baby or toddler or anyone really too much of it too frequently, your body might actually start relying on that, on the aloe vera gel, to provide like the laxative to go to the like bathroom, and your body will start, if you don't take it, your body will start having constipation. So be very careful. Just give it here and there. If your baby's super constipated and they want relief, it's so much better than giving your baby like a grape water or something, which contains so many chemicals in it. So I would do like a little bit for your baby, aloe vera gel. If it doesn't help, then give them a little bit more. And then same with your toddler, just give them a little bit of aloe vera. If it's not helping, give them a little bit more, and then a little bit more. Something I do for my toddlers, and I'm not going to say do it for a baby because they're so small and so sensitive, but something I do for my toddlers, maybe like 3 and up, is, or even 2 and up, is I give them 1 drop of peppermint essential oil in some water if I feel like they're having some digestive problems. So what that does is it actually stimulates, it can work 2 ways. So 1, it can actually prevent, if your baby has diarrhea, it can prevent peristalsis of the colon. So it'll prevent food moving through the colon super fast. If you have constipation, it kind of helps to improve peristalsis, so your intestines are kind of moving foods through. So it works both ways. It's really, really good, and it tastes yummy too. So I just put 1 drop. You don't want to do too much, especially essential oils that can be very potent. Just do 1 drop in a little bit of water, or you can do peppermint tea. So whatever your child prefers, you could put it in a bottle, you could put it in a carrier oil, like a lot of coconut oil, and put it right on their tongue. However you want to do it, but it will help their digestion. And that kind of leads me to my next tip, which is coconut oil. If you feel that, if your baby has thrush, or you feel like your toddler has a lot of candida overgrowth, it's hard in kids because you can't do a ton of stuff. You can't completely cut out carbs and stuff to reduce their candida load because they need fuel. So it's really hard on kids to reduce the candida. So one of my favorite ways to do it is actually give them coconut oil, and I give them a lot. Healthy fats are so good for kids, and I personally feel like you can't really overdo it if they're healthy. So I do, like in my toddlers, they get about 1 tablespoon of coconut oil a day, and I have them like rub it in their mouth and stuff, so it kind of kills the bacteria in the mouth, but it also will help fuel their brain. It lubricates their colon, and it also fights off, because it's antimicrobial, it'll fight off the bad bacteria. So you can give this to newborn babies, just obviously give them a lot less. You can maybe do like half a teaspoon to a teaspoon for a newborn, if you know you feel like they might have some candida from you. If you're eating a lot of sugar and you're breastfeeding, they're going to get that through the breast milk, and that's going to, you know, further encourage dysbiosis in their little bodies. So if that's the case, then make sure they're taking coconut oil. That's going to really help, and it's going to improve digestion because, like I said, it lubricates the intestines. The next thing, and it's something I do give to my kids, and some parents don't want to, so it's up to you, but I do L-glutamine, and it's not every day, but it's when I feel like they need it. So my son the other day just had 7 days of severe diarrhea. I think he had a viral infection. And during that time, because literally I was seeing so much mucus come out, I knew that his gut needed some support. So I was giving him L-glutamine, and I did 5 grams in the morning, 5 grams at night in some water. This just really helps to fuel the cells in the this helps to fuel the cells in the intestines, and it'll help them replenish and regrow, and it'll help reseal the gut. So I gave it to my son, but he was 2.5, but I wouldn't recommend going any younger. You don't want your body, if you supplement too much with L-glutamine, your body might stop producing it, so you don't want to like overdo it. So yeah, I give it to my little kid, and it really helped him. And another tip too is bone broth. So I would either do collagen in my baby's bottle, and I did this from day 1, like the second my baby was born. Okay, not the second, probably like a week out. So 1 week old, I started giving my baby some grass-fed collagen or wild-caught marine collagen in their bottles, and it was so good. My daughter's skin was like so beautiful. But you can give it to your toddlers or your babies if you feel that they have some like leaky gut or gut issues. If you fed your baby grains too soon, things like that. start supplementing with collagen. It's going to really help to reheal and reseal their guts, or you can just make bone broth and put it in a bottle and let them drink that. Depends on the pickiness of your kids and, you know, their taste preferences. So definitely give that a try. I give bone broth or gelatin or collagen to my kids every single day. So it doesn't matter the age, it's really good for them, but as long as it's good quality. So yeah, those are just some of the main tips. There are definitely a lot of other things you can do, can't talk today, such as digestive enzymes. I give it to my kids depending on what they're eating. If they're having like a meal with, first of all, it's big with like a lot of different foods, I'll make sure that they take a digestive. Kids are hard because they usually can't swallow pills, and I feel like the chewable ones have a lot of bad ingredients in them, like glucose and things you don't want your kid having. So what I do is I open up the digestive enzyme and pour it in something like an oatmeal or something that they won't really like notice it or taste it in, and then I'll give it to them with their meal. Or I'll mix it in a shot, like I put it in a shot glass, mix it with some water and drop a peppermint essential oil, and I'll say just chug it back and then you can eat your food, and they do. My kids are pretty decent with that, so you can do that. But there are definitely some digestive enzymes that are chewable that are actually good quality, so you have to do your research, find what works best for you and your baby or child. But if you feel that their digestion's really bad, that they're getting really bloated after meals, that they're complaining about cramping, etc., or they just seem really malnourished regardless of eating really well, then they probably should be having a digestive enzyme. So nothing too crazy, but I do give them on to my kids, and it has helped them so much in terms of like their malnutrition, because they were eating really well, but I felt like their skin was still dry and it didn't seem like they were just absorbing what they were eating. So that's when the digestive enzyme will come in handy and really help. If your baby does not want to do a digestive enzyme, not your baby, if your toddler does not want to do a digestive enzyme, or they just, you know, they're not comfortable with that, you can try lemon. So I do lots of lemon squeezed in some warm lemon water, and I'll have them do a shot right before dinner. That really helps. I wouldn't recommend apple cider vinegar because it tastes so bad for kids. So unless your kids are cool with that. So then I'll do apple cider vinegar if they can handle it. Like my older son doesn't mind it, he'll just chug it back. But yeah, when they're like too small, just do like squeeze some lemon in like a teeny little bit of warm water, have them do a shot before their food. It'll be a little bit sour, but kids tend to like that. Another thing you could do is something called gut shots. Farmhouse Culture has really good ones, but it's pretty much just like the juice of sauerkraut. So if you make your own sauerkraut, give your kids a shot of the juice before a meal. That'll help to like digest their food and break stuff down, and it provides them with good probiotics. So those are just some like little tips in terms of digesting their food. And then finally, give your kids a lot of smoothies or like pureed stuff. So if you find that your child is just like pooping out like whole foods in his poop, like if you see that there's like undigested food in their stool, that means that they're not chewing their food properly, or they're not breaking it down, etc. So that's when good like smoothies or soups and stuff would come in handy, because they don't have to chew, it's already pre-broken down, so their body doesn't have to do the work. They can just absorb the nutrients from it without having to like stress the gut. So we do smoothies every morning for breakfast. That's usually what our smoothie is for the most part. Or something that's at least easy to digest, like overnight, like soaked oats, soaked overnight oats, or chia seed pudding, something that like has already been soaking and doesn't really require a lot of chewing. Lots of soups, things like that. So I would recommend trying that. And one last tip before I sign off. If you have a brand new baby, I do not recommend, like, don't introduce foods too early. Wait till 6 months if possible. But if they're starving and don't want to wait, introduce foods like avocado or pureed vegetables that are like not hard to digest, or fruit. Try to avoid like things, or proteins like pureed chicken, but try to avoid things like grains and things that are hard to digest, or chunks of food that they have to like suck on or break down themselves, because they're not good at chewing, and then you'll see undigested food particles in their stool, which means that their digestive system's getting destroyed, and that's not a good start. So even pureed grains I do not recommend until like over a year, but I would definitely say like try go for more of like the fats. Like give your baby coconut cream or avocado, lots of like just egg yolk. Like if you like cook up hard boil an egg and just take off the white, it's so easy to come off, and just give them the egg yolk, because the white can be allergenic. The egg yolk should be fine. You can puree some chicken for them with some like herbs and spices, or give them bone broth. Those are the kind of foods you want to introduce to your child first, and that's going to set them up for success in terms of digestion and, you know, reducing allergies and all that. So those are my tips for digestion and helping your little kids' tummies. There are loads of other tips and probably a lot that I've, you know, forgot to mention, but these are some of the main ones that I do for my kids that have helped significantly. My son's speech has improved dramatically just from, you know, doing a few changes and giving him some more probiotics and stuff. So I hope you guys try out these tips, and I hope you like this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below if you are new to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.